This is The Goode Show. Welcome to this week's episode. My name's Surinder. I am your host, and this is The Goode Show. Today, I'm joined by Tony Teravainen from Support The Enlisted Project, known as STEP. Now, behind the scenes, STEP is helping military and veteran families navigate financial crisis, unexpected challenges, and any curveballs that life may throw you. So today we are on location at the STEP headquarters now. It's called headquarters.
Yes. National headquarters.
Yes, we're going to get into that. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
It's great. We've spoken about this for a while, and now we finally are getting it done. So I really appreciate your time today. But before we start talking about STEP, I really want to talk about Tony before the military and before STEP. What were you doing? Are you a San Diego native? And why did you join on the dotted line?
Yeah, those are all good questions. I'm not a San Diego native. I'm not a native anywhere. My dad was Air Force.
Oh, okay.
And we had the privilege of traveling across the world as kids. And I think 6 schools. I think I did 6 schools, so that's not a lot by some military kid standards.
Yeah.
But every 2 years, basically. Yeah, and he was stationed in England twice.
Okay.
And the first time we were in England, he figured out that if we lived really far off base, he could get ahead on the housing allowance, on the BAH, and get a motorcycle to drive back and forth to work. So we lived in a small village named Hanwell. It was outside of Oxford. And we were the first Americans in that town since the war.
Wow.
Yeah, so this was mid-'70s. But my little brother was born there. And we went to a British school with the British kids.
Wow.
So like preschool, kindergarten, and first grade, I did in this British school. Wow. And I was just a little limey kid. I was full, and there's a series of like videotapes or 8mm tapes my dad would make and send back to the family, like in Brooklyn. And they would play these things, and we were just a bunch of English kids.
Did you have the accent as well?
Oh, heavy.
Yeah?
Heavy. And then we moved from there to Plattsburgh, New York.
Okay.
It's like a week into second grade, we started school, so we started school late. And I was extremely out of place. All we had, obviously, was our little British people clothes.
Yeah.
And after a week, the teacher decided I was too smart. And the next week, I started in third grade. And that's where, like, the kids punch harder. And they're meaner. So
now, were you saying tomato and potato and things like that?
I would. Yeah. Oh, I was. It was a heavy British accent.
Yeah.
Heavy. I mean, that's I learned.
Yeah.
In England, in a British school.
Yeah.
So still word spellings get me mixed up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a different way of thinking that stays with you sometimes. It's really interesting. There's a story my mom had about everybody got. It's like a vocabulary test or something, and I guess the question was like, what's another word for a stroller? I'm like, I don't know what a stroller is, but I know what a pram is. And I was like, I was the only kid that knew it. She's like, you're so smart. I'm like, this is terrible. But yeah, my dad retired out of Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, in Hampton, Virginia. And so we bought our first house there right before he retired. And as soon as he retired, my mom decided they wanted a divorce, which it wasn't a bad childhood. It was, they stuck together for 20 years. They had met when I think he was like an E3 or something.
Okay. In
school, going through Wichita, Kansas. He was already had 1 Vietnam deployment under his belt. And she was living there in Wichita, and they got married and start the circus here. 2 years later, she had 2 kids, and he was going back to Vietnam again. And that was it. That was the roller coaster. So yeah, my parents split up, and so that was even add change to the change. So it was just kind of. And I was kind of a quiet kid, and didn't talk much, and nothing bugged me, and it just like whatever. Everything was whatever, whatever. My mom so I did 2 years at Yorktown High School in Yorktown, Virginia, and then we moved. My mom got remarried, and we moved, and I went to over in Newport News, down by the shipyard. I went to high school there at Warwick High School, and it was interesting. You know, a lot of different types of people with you in the military. So we had all kinds of different people. I remember my dad had every place he would go, he'd have like a best friend for a while, and we'd hang out with their families. And it was just a mix. There's black families, Mexican families, Asian families. It didn't matter. But my Yorktown high school experience was the high school was almost all white, as Yorktown is. And then I went down by the shipyard, and it was almost all black. And it was, now I'm not in the military anymore, so I don't have a community, I don't have a tribe. And yeah, that second group, I started the football season at Yorktown, and then got switched, obviously, a week into school again, which was crazy. And they let me walk onto the football team there because the coach has talked. He's been here all summer with us. But the team there really embraced me. They brought me into their little group. And they helped me acclimate to the school, to the culture, to all the different sports and opportunities. And I was convinced I was just going to go to the shipyard and just be an electrician at the shipyard. That was my side job. My high school job was an electrician, and I was just going to do that. And they were like, no. And they would show up. They would show up to school every Monday with a new sweatsuit on. It's like Wake Forest, Clemson, Duke, Virginia Tech. And I'm like, where do you guys keep getting these swimsuits? And like, we go there on the weekends, Tony. We work out with the teams. We hang out with the coaches. We're trying to we're trying to get out of the hood. This is our ticket out. And I'm like, I'm not going to school. I'm just going to go to the shipyard. And they're like, if any of us get out of here, it needs to be you. Yeah. I was like, okay. So they helped me figure out how to get into college. I did a semester at Old Dominion University in the engineering program there. But it's very similar to what we see with our people. If you tell somebody how to do their finances and you help them do it, then it's not theirs. And they don't know how to own it. Yeah. And that was me in college. I was there. We didn't have a football team, so I played rugby there. And it's like I could associate with that, but it was like the rest of the school was just like, it's like I couldn't find the classes. I always had the wrong book. I was in these giant, 700-person classes. I was like, what is this? What do we? And then it's like my secondary education, it sucked at best because you could figure out how to get through school without doing anything. Yeah. So I was just like, I called my dad probably halfway through that first semester, and we had a number of conversations like this. So I was like, hi. And he goes, he didn't even say hi. He's like, you going back to school next semester? I'm like, yeah, about that. And he said, do you have a pencil? I was like, yeah. He said, write this number down. So I wrote the number down. He said, call him. And hung up. It's the end of the conversation. So I call this guy, and he's like, Senior Chief Jones. I said, my dad said call you. And he's like, who's your dad? I said, Bob Teravainen. And he starts laughing. He's like, Bob T's kids on the phone. It was a Navy recruiter's office. And my dad was selling mortgages at the time. And I guess he'd probably just sold them, helped them buy some houses or something like that. And so I went down there, and the guy's like, what do you want to do? I said, do you have a catalog? And I just started flipping through the catalog. And it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen as soon as I walked in the door because, my entire time through high school, I was just disassociated. My time at college, it was just like me in somebody else's world. And my dad was in the Air Force, but I walked into this Navy recruiter's office, and I didn't know the uniforms. I didn't understand the ranks. But it was like instantly a peace fell over me when I walked in that door. And I had no desire to go anywhere else or do anything else. And it was just like, wow. And that was it. He gives me the catalog, and I get to E. I'm like, you got electricians? And they're like, yeah, we have electricity. I'm like, I'm already an electrician. I'm going to be ahead. And they're like, you're not going to be ahead of anybody. You are an idiot. And so I go back and take my ASVAB, and I did really well on it. And he's like, Tony, you want a Coke? I'm like, yeah. So I'm drinking my Coke and eating my chips. And he's like, have you ever heard of the nuclear power program? And I'm like, what's that? And he tells me, we've got nuclear. I'm like, you have nuclear reactors? He says, yeah. And he goes, do you want to work on them? And I'm like, where would I do that at? And he says, you can be on a carrier or a submarine, or they had cruisers then were nuclear power. And I'm like, I can be on a submarine? And it was just like, so we go through this whole thing. I said, let me get this straight. You're going to teach me how to run a nuclear reactor. I can be on a submarine. you're going to pay me for this, and you give me a place to sleep before Christmas because I'm going homeless when they kick me out of the dorms. And he's like, yeah, sign here. They said, sure, sign here. And the guy goes, he can't sign, he's still 17. And the other guy's like, call Mom. So my dad signed me away. So I turned 18 that Thanksgiving. And Christmas Eve, I was on the train to boot camp. And that was it.
How did your mom react to you joining the Navy?
Yeah. About 3 days before I left, I was crashing at my dad's house. I had moved out of the and in between changing schools, I had moved from my mom's to my dad's, and it was just kind of a mess. And my dad asked me one day, he's like, did you tell your mom you're going yet? And I was like, no.
And you've got 3 days before you actually go. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, probably a good idea. And they didn't, it was amicable,
yeah.
But, they didn't hang out or talk. And I got divorced, and my dad was there early in my divorce thing, and I was just like texting my wife, and he's like, you texting, your ex-wife? And I was like, yeah, it's about the kid stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I wish we had that when I got divorced. I was like, yeah, that would suck. You'd have to talk all the time. It's pretty funny.
He's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I called her up and I told her, and I don't know, I didn't come home for a couple years. I was just like off. Just went. No, I'd call once in a while. I'd show up to stuff, but military kid, that type of life, you hold on to everything loosely and you say goodbye easily, right?
Yes.
And so that's really stuck with me over the years. And it's helped me and hurt me, for sure. I've had to overcome a lot of those habits, especially when I learned to run step. My previous careers were very industrial after the military. Did manufacturing for 12 years, so that's kind of similar to being in the Navy.
How long were you active duty?
8.5 years.
8.5 years, okay.
Yeah, and I got medically retired. Started getting sick in boot camp, actually, or after boot camp in nuclear power school. And they just kept sending me to the hospital and giving me aspirin and going away. And that lasted all through power school and prototype, and then I got my first submarine. And I got sick on one deployment, and it became an issue. And then I got better, and they're like, all right, whatever. And then I left, but then I came to San Diego to be on a submarine tender out here. And the doctor's like, the diving officer on a submarine tender, the diving officer takes care of all the nukes. And he's like, what's all this? What are you going to the hospital with these stomach aches for? He's like, we need to figure this out. So he sent me back and forth for months. Every week I was going back for some new tests, and they finally figured out what it was. And they're like, oh, you can't be in the Navy. You can't be around a reactor. You can't go to sea. And it's like, I was crushed. It's like, you hear that, and it's like, you can't do this. And it's like, I love my job. As a nuclear planner, I was on this tent. I had 2 submarine squadrons, and I was doing, nuclear project management for like repair of valves and stuff like that. And it's like, you can't, this is my entire life, right? And one of the books I make my team read is Outlaw Platoon. Okay. Sean Parnell wrote that about his Afghanistan deployment. And they were a National Guard unit out of, I don't know, northern Midwest or something. And they all went, and it's a chronology of their time there. And they had an FOB up on the Afghan border. It's the size of Rhode Island, and their mission was to inhibit Taliban flow back and forth across the border. So just like get in the way and make a mess. And like 2 months in, he RPG close to where they were at, and they all went flying or whatever. And after that, he had this like liquid dripping out of his ear, and he didn't want the whole for his next 10 months. Yeah. He's just like battling these headaches, and this stuff keeps dripping out of his ear. And I'm just like, you should get that looked at. And it's like, no, I shouldn't, because I know it's going to happen when I go get it looked at, right? Yeah. And so this is a common thing with all of our military folks, right? And it's not like you think they can't live without you. It's not like you think you can't live without us. It's just like this job becomes part of you, right? It's why families, it's the profession with the highest divorce rate. the mental health crises, all these other issues that go with it, because the service member becomes part of their job.
Yes.
Right? They assimilate so much, they be just part of the machine.
Yeah.
And the families are the third wheel, and they're just like not important, right? It's not a focus point. They're important, they're valued, all this other, but it's just like the focus really shifts, and this becomes your life's work at this moment. And you can't tell somebody, oh, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so I just I lost it with this guy, and I was like, you can't. And I was like, if I don't do any hot reactor trials, if I don't work in any hot boats, if I don't go to sea on any sea trials, I won't go to sea with the tender. Who wants to do that anyway? It's like, I won't do all this stuff. Just let me keep doing this. And he's like, well, you're up for orders in like 11 months or something, 12 months. You're only buying a year. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just don't take this away from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it got me another year on the tender, doing my job that I loved. And I just didn't even worry about that, right? It's like, whew, I can just do this now.
Yeah.
And all the struggles and challenges and, 7-day week, 12-hour shifts, 6 at night, 6 in the morning, didn't matter. It's not like I was looking forward to getting out or having this, going through this train wreck or whatever. And then, it came to get detailed new orders, and they're like, you're out. And then they moved me to temporary duty, and I was like handing out decals down at 32nd Street or something for the cars. And it's just like, I worked at NTC for a while, and then the paperwork went through. And then finally one day a guy calls me, he's like, hey, paperwork's done. You don't have to come in. I said, where do you want me to go? He goes, I don't care where you go. Don't come here. You're out.
Wow.
And I had like 4 inches of paperwork, and I didn't understand any of it. And I was just like...
So what do you do in a situation like that? I mean, you're still you're young, you're still young at that point.
Relatively young, yeah. You just try to you got to keep moving forward. You know, I sat down and it's like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And I was like, well, there's no bugs and no humidity in California, so might as well stay here. Then I'm like, all right, next, find a job. And I found this job manufacturing at Sony Electronics, and just went and buried my head in there and just kind of worked through that.
Did you have a support system as you were transitioning out, leaving the military, friends, people that supported you?
No.
It was just you by yourself?
It was just me. It was just me. And I got a job manufacturing, and Sony was expanding, so they were hiring a lot of maintenance workers. The guy's like, so you can fix a robot? I'm like, yes, I can. I didn't know what a robot was, but I'm sure I could figure it out. And there was a bunch of guys like me that all came in, these maintenance workers. So they paired us up with these old grizzly maintenance mechanics that would do better under a union environment, probably. But it was like I walk into this room my first day, and I got a toolbox, I got a laptop, there's all the tech manuals. It's like, I don't know, 150,000 square feet. It's a massive room, and we're making 27-inch television tubes, and I think the index on them was 20 seconds, so everything would move one position every 20 seconds, and then these giant ovens, and it was just like, green light good, red light bad, fix red light quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And it was just like being on a ship, or on the boat. And it was just like, next to me was a room with another guy, and he might have been like a radio man or something from the Marine Corps. But it's like anybody with electronics training or technical training, the military was great for prepping these folks because they had the ability to solve problems. They took ownership. It's like every trait that made them successful in the military would make them successful in this, high-speed automated manufacturing. And I eventually ran the entire maintenance team and then engineering teams, and then I left as the chief maintenance engineer. And I would tell my recruiting firms to go target E4, E5s from the technical trades. I don't care what branch of service they were in, Coast Guard included. Just like if they can figure out how to run it, the engine room of an 88-footer out there by themselves, they can certainly figure this out. To your question, the support system, we were all in the same boat.
Yeah.
So we showed up at 5:48 at night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and every other Sunday. And then we're like, what, we got 4 days off? It's like, what am I gonna do with 4 days off? So we would all work like 6 days a week and be happy we had a full day off. And we were like, you know, we weren't making a lot of hourly wage, but, you know, a lot of overtime, a lot of double time, and it's just stacked up. So we worked like, we felt like we were sandbagging with the amount of hours we were working, but we were working almost double anybody else, making money and spending time together. And over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, everybody slowly let the military leave them. And, you know, you'd start going on vacations. You'd actually start getting a girlfriend. You know, you do all these things you never had time to do before. And it's like, oh, I'm going to go home for Christmas. I was like, wow, lucky you, you know? And it's like, well, I guess we all could do that, you know? You know, it's like, so we started becoming normal people again very slowly and together. And then what happened is everybody kind of ended up falling back and going back into school somehow. And so just kind of getting a life together, and people would peel off and just do different things. So the support system became my new work. My work became my new support system, and, and the people there and the relationships, because we were all in the same boat together.
I can relate to that. And, you know, it's funny that you should talk about service members, how sometimes they become they're part of this big machine, because I know a plethora of guys where they really should go see a doctor about something, but they don't want it in the medical record.
Don't want it in the medical record, and they don't want it ripped away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they've all done.
They might hate it in the moment, but in the back of their mind, it's like, you can't take this from me. It's like, I'm successful at something. I'm good at something.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know anybody else in my family that's ever done anything as good as this. Yeah. You know, or there's lots of reasons. I mean, it's like, and a lot of them guys tend to not think about that stuff. No. But just inherently, they understand what they're doing. And you get in the mix, and sure, you're doing it for the guy next to you, and you just want to get through and survive it, but you're doing it together.
Yes.
Right? And you're part of this bigger team, and it's a big team. I do a lot of yoga now for exercise, and one of these instructors, she sees me in my step shirts and my step cars, and a couple years ago, maybe, she was like, Tony, you in the military, or do you know about the military? She didn't even know how to ask me, right? Yeah. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, my brother just joined the military. And it's like her and her mom and her other sisters were all like shocked they didn't do this. And so every couple months or something, she would just say where he was when I would see her, where he was and what he was doing. And a couple weeks ago, she's like, Tony, my brother is on one of those destroyers in the Gulf. And my mom's all freaked out, this, that, and the other. And she said, we talked to him, and he's just like happy that they're getting a combat action ribbon. And I'm like, he's happy because they had like 20 hours straight of incoming, and they're just like decking it down, and they're sitting there in battle stations with their full flash hoods on and all the other EABs with them, and they're everything taped shut, and it's just nasty, and it's hard. And they're working their butts off, and they're shooting down all this stuff that's getting shot at them, and there's a lot of stress, and they're not eating, and he's like, and they won. I'm like, he went out there and did his job. That's why she's like, it's just a ribbon, right? And I'm like, no, it's like, it's the ribbon. We did it, right? And I'm like, that's why he joined. That's why he wants to do it. He wants to do it so you don't have to do it. Don't be scared for him. Be happy for him. Be proud for him that he did that. It's like, embrace his love for what he's doing. And that's what you can't rip away from those people. Now you're going to tell him, well, you can't do your job anymore, you know?
No, I mean, I know people that have been medically discharged, and it is just drastic that they've like, okay, I got to leave now. I wasn't ready to leave. I wasn't mentally ready to leave. My finances weren't in order. You know, nothing was in order.
Nothing's in order.
You know, so... After, you know, you've been working in the manufacturing place with Sony, you said. At what point, at what time did you feel that, okay, I need to set something up here that is going to help our enlisted? Like, I know 2012 is when you set up STEP. Is that correct? Okay. So leading up to that, what was happening where you felt, okay, this is a need, I'm going to fulfill it?
Yeah, so I got medically retired in 95.
Okay.
So I had a big gap there. So I left Sony in 06. We closed the factory down. I had the option to stay on the engineering side. I opted not to. I'd already bought like a car parts business. So I'd actually started a couple other businesses because, what's a 6-day-a-week job, right?
Yeah.
So I had these other businesses going, and I stayed doing those for a while, and then still had nothing to do with the military that whole time. And then in 2007, my house burned down. 2008, I got divorced. 2009 was the Great Recession, so my car parts business was, and I've got this, alimony and child support payments now, and I can't just like roll it all back in. And then I went to Booz Allen Hamilton.
Okay.
So I got a call from somebody that worked there, and they said, we got a client that I think you would work with. We've been talking to you before. I'm like, actually, it's good timing. So I worked at Booz by day, and I ran my car parts business at night. And that went on for a while, and then I sold out of the car parts business, and I went to grad school. So education for me, still at this point, I still always feel like I'm behind. Right, everything was behind, and I had a couple degrees that I'd put together while I was at Sony to get me in the business management degree, and then I finished my nuclear engineering degree, get on the engineering side. Still felt like I was behind there. I got to Booz Allen, so then I have experience starting businesses. Booz Allen, everybody had very pedigreed degrees, and I just like, so I was like, I should get one of those too. So I went to grad school. I got into University of San Diego to do in the business school there, master's in executive leadership. I didn't want to do an MBA because I felt like I was probably past that point, but it's like managing MBAs and getting the most out of them. That sounds like my style. So I did that, and at the same time I started that was kind of my looking forward, still thinking I was behind in the world, but looking forward, it's like, I'm a strategy planner by nature, and that was actually my job at Booz Allen. So it's like now you're trying to look at the rest of your life and how it's going to form, and you don't know how it's going to go, but you need to keep moving forward in this general cone, right? So I got in grad school, and then there was a posting, like a job posting for a volunteer opportunity. So we had them at Booz Allen, and one was somebody to do a long-term strategy with a nonprofit that works with military families. And I had no clue what a nonprofit did, but I'm like, well, I know what it's like to be in a military family, so I understand, the customers on this. This is my day job here at Booz, so I can go there, do that, get some brownie points, and get another raise, and I don't know, get more ties or something, whatever I was going to do. And then I realized that the strategy planning for a nonprofit is very different than commercial or for government. So it's like, I got to put in a little work, and I had to study, and it's like a whole new set of books I had to get. So I had to really kind of get myself into the business model. I helped the board go through their strategy. They asked me to stay on and help with action planning and all that other stuff, and then they asked me to join the board. I was like, okay, never done this before. So then I'm on the board, and I kind of don't understand everything going on. I learned about the value of nonprofits and these service organizations during the fire, where FEMA had a FEMA center, community center, and somebody's like, you need to go there. I'm like, for what? They're like, they'll give you stuff. I'm like, who's going to give me stuff?
Yeah.
The people at the FEMA center. I'm like, what do I need from FEMA?
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, Tony, just go. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go, and there's outside was a Tide semi, and inside there was 100 washing machines, and you could wash your clothes. So it's all right, so they give you a Tyvek suit you take, because these are the only clothes you have after the fire, right? So you wash your clothes, and you're like, oh, this is great. And it's AT&T had phones you could use, and the Red Cross is giving everybody coolers and gloves and rakes. I'm like, okay. And then I go inside, and there's 300 tables. And I'm like, who are all these people? And one of the most influential episodes of my life was that period as I was creating STEP, because I was the customer, right? I had nothing, And I'd never asked for anything. And I wasn't one of these, stuffed shoppers, right? I was very independent. We never like used this. I mean, we got like free lunches or reduced lunches just because we were poor, but we didn't. And my parents did use resources, I'm sure, right? But it's not like this was something that was part of our life.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, I just like stare at people. And I'm a very quiet guy. I was very introverted. And it's like, I'm fine with that awkward silence. It's like people crack way before I do. I'll sit and stare at you all day. I'm staring at this guy and he's like, can I help you? I said, I don't know. Can you? I'm like, you're with the Social Security Administration? I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And he's like, did your Social Security card burn? I was like, oh, yeah. I guess it did. He goes, do you want a new one? And I'm like, guess so. He's like, fill out this piece of paper. It's like, we all had like P.O. boxes by then or something. So he mailed it to me. I was like, I was all right. The next person was like the tax assessor. I was like staring to him. And he's like, how are you doing? I'm like, good. He's, can I help you? I don't know. I was like, what do you do? I'm like, you take my taxes, you want more tax money? And he said, is your house, full loss or partial loss? I'm like, full loss. And he goes, well, we can probably reduce your tax base. I said, why is that? And I'm like, he's like, well, on your tax form, it's like, land value and then improvements. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So he's like, what's your parcel number? And I was like, just walk away, right? Because this is your world, not my world. Yeah. Right? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, wait, come back. I'm like, come back for what? And it's like, I don't need you. I don't need this. Yeah. And he's like, all right, what's your address? I give him my address. He pulls it up. I'm like, what? We have to live in your world, right? Why can't you be like real customer-focused service? Yeah. So he's like, is this it? Yeah. He's like, is there anything here anymore? I said, no. He's like, let's make this number 0. I'm like, great, sign the paper, done. Small Business Association was there, and they wanted to give me like an 8% loan for like all my businesses and my side gigs and my orchards. And then we went 3 years of taxes, and we went this, and they're all separate envelopes. And the guy like literally doesn't stop talking. And he's just like stacking these folders on me. And I was just like, and I just turned around, there's a trash can there, and I just like dumped it all in the trash can. And I just stared back at him. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I just can't. Yeah. I just couldn't even think. So, I mean, I didn't go through the whole thing, but there was 2 agencies that really stood out. And it was Disabled American Veterans and Jewish Family Services. And they like took it to the next level. So there was like the people like small business, it was like you had to totally live in their world. And then some people that were like in the middle, and then some people went above and beyond. And I'm staring at the DAV table, and there was this tall, skinny black guy. It's like maybe 6'10", something tall, right? Super skinny, just very distinctive figure. Comes back later in the story. And I'm staring at him, and he's staring at me, and he's like, are you a veteran? I was like, yeah. He's like, is it full loss, total loss? I'm like, full loss. And he goes, I'll give you $1,000. I'm like, you're gonna give me $1,000? I said, why? He said, because your house burned down. I'm like, you just run around giving people $1,000 because their house burned down? He said, no, just veterans. I'm like, where do you get all this money? He's like, people give us money to help veterans, and we have a program to help them in the crisis. This is a crisis, we're gonna give you money. I'm like, what if only half my house burned down? He's like, well, I give you $500. And I'm like, whatever, what do I need to sign, right? So I fill out this paper. He's got a computer there, and he sees me. And I've never done anything with the VA at this point. I was like, I'm on a VA disability, but like how will happen through my transition? I've never done any of that. So he starts asking me these questions. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know any answers. Just give me $1,000. I leave. The next day I come back, and this dude, now I know who he is. I walk in, and it's like he's talking to somebody, and it's like we lock eyes for a second. He like, his eyes light up. He's waving me over. I'm like, oh, this guy wants his $1,000 back for sure. It's like, it can't be that easy. And he's like, Tony. I says, yeah. And he goes, you're wearing a wedding ring. I said, yeah. He's like, the VA doesn't know you're married. I'm like, well, it's none of their damn business. And he's, no. He goes, you get more disability if you're married. I'm like, well, that's stupid. He goes, maybe, but it's true. And he's like, you got any kids? I'm like, let me guess. He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's even dumber. He's like, you want me to fill out the paperwork for it? He's like, yeah. He's like, pumps it all out, sign here, done. And it's like, I'm like, he updated my whole VA form. I'm like, I had no idea any of that happened.
That's crazy.
So he's like, he took it upon himself to do that. And Jewish Family Services, this woman was always going around. She was on all these community meetings. She's always like talking to people. She's like a talker. I'm like looking at her, and I'd see her and I'd get away from her. I didn't know if I wanted to talk to her. Finally, one day I came in a meeting late, and she's like, I snuck in the door and I look over and she's right there, and she's like, "You've been avoiding me." I'm like, "Maybe." I'm like, "What do you do anyway?" So she's like, "I'm with Jewish Family Services." I'm like, what are you doing? And she goes, "Well, do you have any uninsured losses?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "All right." She said, "Why don't you get some quotes to replace the stuff that you lost that insurance isn't going to cover?" And she was up to $5,000. And I'm like, "Up to $5,000 worth of stuff you're going to go buy me?" She's like, just get it together and fax it to me. So I go around to like, and I had a avocado trees on my property, and so it's like the insurance company's like, "Oh, it looks like a business. We're not touching that." It's like my weed eaters and my chainsaws and rakes and hose and irrigation pieces. So I get all these quotes together, and I fax it to her, and she calls me back the next morning, and she goes, "You can go pick it up." I go, "Pick what up?" And she goes, "All those invoices you faxed me yesterday, that's all paid for and waiting for you at will call."
Wow. I
was like, "You know I'm not Jewish, right?" And she goes, "Yeah, I know. If you were, you would have got $10,000. Like, man, you guys got everything figured out. So sure enough, I went down there. It's all sitting there. But it was like, it was a stopgap, right? Yeah. It was a very specific thing.
Yeah.
I had to do work for it, right? She wasn't going to like drag me along. And if I didn't want to do it, she wasn't going to help. But, it was like normal stuff that I was getting. It all made sense. It wasn't like some outrageous financial or a paperwork trail. I just did it. So that episode really showed me how a nonprofit agency or a community service agency could actually be beneficial to people, especially those in crisis, where you just can't even cognitively process a lot of things at a moment. So as a board member for the organization that we were, previous to STEP, I would start going to a lot of outreach events. I would just try to figure out what's going on, and I was in the board meetings, and I did that for about 2 years. And I didn't really like what I saw, right? We're just like handing stuff out. It was kind of more about the people. It's more about emptying the truck than like the people. And it's like, well, she's 5 minutes late. I'm like, so? It's like, well, her neighbor rode with her and she didn't sign up, or she forgot her ID card, or it's like, she wants 2 bottles of peanut butter, right? It's like, what do we care about any of this stuff? Right? It's just like this stuff shouldn't matter, right? If we're doing this for the reasons that so it's just like all weird. Anyway, that agency kind of shifted directions, and we broke away from there. We resigned our charter. We said, we have a chance to do this the right way, what we think is right for the communities here in San Diego. And we kind of had this half a chance, this little window. I had startup experience. I had the strategy experience. I was young. I was stupid. I was all idealistic, all kind of through my grad school program. I'd been like using this as an idea of how to make the world a better place, and it was really coming together through that. And so, 2012, I graduated grad school in May, got married in August, and started STEP in September. We became STEP, or October. We became STEP in October 2012. And I was vice chairman. And then 9 months later, I was chairman of the board with our elections. And then 6 months after that, our president left. And so I was chairman of the board and interim president. And
you were wearing all the hats.
I was wearing all the hats. Still working full-time at Booz Allen. And I did that for 6 weeks. And then during that 6 weeks, Booz was great. They were going to give me marketing hours or whatever I needed if I couldn't, satisfy my client. My client was great with it. But I was like, this is just like another startup. And somebody's got to put in those 12, 14-hour days, just like banging through all this stuff. And so I took a 1-year unpaid leave of absence from Booz, thinking I could get this thing up off the ground in 8-10 months, go back to Booz. Live the high life again, the easy life. And I misjudged my product. The product, I think almost every nonprofit, but ours, specifically is reputation, right? If you are gonna tell somebody you know and love to go somewhere in their deepest, darkest moment, you need to know in your heart that they're gonna do good by them.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
I needed to build that feeling in you before we could start getting all these customers. And that's really the same thing the donors are gonna figure out.
Yeah.
So it was very different. So the year went and passed, and then that was it. And I've been now, it's been 14 years, and I've been with it the whole ride.
Wow.
And I said from the beginning, I'd stay with it until it didn't need me anymore. And it's been it's like, from my perspective, it's just a mess. It's just like damage control every day. It's starting to get much more organized, but I'll continue to stay with it until it doesn't need me anymore. And as we continue now to scale nationally, at some point, somebody with national experience will need to come in and replace me. And I'll be more of a liability than I'm an asset. It's honest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not a founder syndrome thing. It's just like nobody. I took the job permanently because nobody else would.
Yeah.
Because it was a great idea, but it was just a bowl of jelly. Somebody had to firm it up, and it took us, the first 3 years was just like vetting out, does the community need it? Will the military family come to us? Will the military support us? And can we have it funded privately, right? Just through the community, not through the government. And then that was all yes after a couple of years. So then it was like, all right, can we actually, make a business out of it? And we did that. And then it's like, wow, we're getting all these calls from across the country. Can we lean into that a little bit or not? And so we tested it to see if we could maintain our 90% success rate was really our benchmark. And that was when I brought on Washington State, and I started taking families across the country on a space available basis. And that was all successful. So then at our 10-year point, went through a visioning exercise and, what STEP's going to look like in another 10 years. And the board came back with available to all of America's young military and veteran families. So the last couple of years have been leaning into that and buying the building.
Now you're in Hawaii as well?
Yeah.
Okay, because so you're Hawaii, Washington, San Diego.
All of California and Oregon now, So it's 4 states. And I got a partner that's putting us in Texas in calendar year 26.
Wow.
So it's during the last quarter, I think we'll have a grand opening in the Lone Star State.
Let me ask you about your clientele here.
Sure.
Right? Support the Enlisted Project. Obviously, you get a lot of enlisted folks coming in through the door. Let me ask you, because it seems to me, and I've been a military spouse 29 years now, enlisted. It seems to me that when I talk to folks, it's enlisted populations seem to be more vulnerable to, financial crisis, challenges. Is this because of age, rank, family size? Why is that?
So I get that question a lot. And some people frame that question as like, why can't these military people manage their money better? Why do they get into these financial crises? Doesn't the military give them everything they need?
I think that a lot of people say
So it's kind of all the same answer. And I had that question internally. So in 2018, maybe, I did a TEDx speech up in Orange County. And I was like, how am I going to get anybody in Orange County to care one iota about a young military family anywhere in America? So I started my research and I started my speech. Subsequently, I started my speech. This is America's problem. This is not the military's problem, right? 3 out of 5 Americans spend their entire paycheck or more each month. 3 out of 5 Americans have less than $400 for an unplanned emergency. And I think 7 out of 10 Americans have less than $1,000 total net assets. So these are the habits that our youth are growing up with. And they enculturate these habits before they turn 10 years old. And in their preteen and their teen years, they learn how to operationalize the financial culture that they absorb before they turn 10. So all those habits are already in there. Then they join the military. And then we put them in a situation with higher family stress, higher work stress, and higher financial stress. Because the first thing we're going to do is rip this 18 to 24-year-old with bad financial habits out of his hometown and his home environment. That's what was going to keep them solvent, between the network, between their friends, their high school buddies, their sisters, their uncles, their aunts. That was going to, the ecosystem, the community was going to take care of. We pull them right out of that.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going to, so there's, what is that, $2,000 to $5,000 unreimbursable expenses right there between, you know, plungers and mac and cheese and whatever. That moving around puts the spouse in a 50% unemployment, underemployment rate. So that locks them into the low income wage, right? HUD low income is 80% of AMI. AMI for a family of 4 in San Diego is like $120,000. It's the average median income. So HUD says 80% of that's low income because that's what all the prices around here are set at, AMI. And so 70% of the military earns around a low income wage, right, by HUD standards. You're going to deploy that service member between a quarter and a third of the time. So if you started with 2 parents, right, you're going to go back and forth with just 1 and 2 parent household. About 20% of the military now are single parents.
Yeah.
So you better hope your aunts, your uncles, somebody likes your kid, because that's where they're going when you deploy. They're going to go to work every day in the nation's 3rd most deadly occupation. So over the last 40 or 50 years, more service members have died from work-related accidents than any other cause.
I did not know that.
You're going to put them in the occupation with the highest divorce rate.
Yeah.
And you're going to hold them to a higher standard.
Yeah.
To maintain their security clearance and to get their top-notch evaluation so that they continue to promote and be able to stay in. 88% of security clearance revocations cite financial considerations.
Wow.
So it's not that they can't manage it.
Yeah.
Right? They've got average habits. And you put them in the situation that distracts them more from just the money side, right? Like we already talked about. It just like takes the service member out of that family. And then the family has to try to make this work themselves with this, you know, almost part-time parent. So yeah, it's more of a challenge, and that's why you see, you know, beyond the 25% of military families that are food insecure, right? But 4 times as likely to have mental health issues, or 2 times as likely to have mental health issues, 2 times as likely to become homeless, and then that progresses out into the veterans with, you know, the higher suicide rates on both sides and all the numbers. So it's a big challenge.
Yeah.
We think we can have positive impact on it. I want to do that. So I would have these meetings. I'd invite people in for STEP, you know, and before COVID, everywhere suit and tie all the time. And that's why I wore Booz Allen. So that was like the only thing I had going for me. I look good in a suit and tie. So it's like I'd wear that to try to impress people and listen to them, tell them about STEP. This is one meeting, this guy leans across the table and he's like, Tony, how do you relate to these people? I was like, woo. I'm like, dude, you don't get it. I'm like, these are my people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you can take me out of the trailer park, but, and people are like, you can't say that. It's like, we lived in trailer parks.
Yeah.
We lived in a converted chicken coop for a while. You know, it's like, this is how we got along.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? This is how we got by.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what I can and can't say.
Yeah.
This is like culturally who I am. I get it.
Yeah.
And I saw those people standing in those food lines, just handing them out and treating them like kind of numbers and barcodes. And it was just like, A, it's like we shouldn't treat them that way. And B, it's like, how is this? This is great, right? They need Easter baskets, they need backpacks, they need money for cars, transmissions. But it's like, how is just giving them the stuff moving the needle?
Yes.
That was really the beginning of STEP.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing here? And it's like, from everything I learned since I've been in the military, right? This taught me the military, so that's that. And then this was like all this, you know, change, all this, you know, process, I can't even talk anymore. Project management, change management, process improvement, operations. It's just like root cause analysis and solving problems. And so now I'm sitting here looking at this and I can see like we're not addressing the root cause.
Yes.
What is the root cause? And this got me back to behaviors. And I was like, what if we could work on their behaviors in a way? Like, who does this? And I look and it's like, it's these social workers. And then people have abusive behaviors, addictive behaviors, eating behaviors, aggressive behaviors, risky behaviors, homeless behaviors. There's all these issues people have, chronic self-destructive behaviors that like us as humans just like to collect. I think I'll smoke a pack of cigarettes today. It's like, you're killing yourself. Yeah, but they taste good. I was like, no, right? And you tell me to stop and I'll be like, okay, I'll stop, and it'll work for 2 days.
Yeah.
Same with drinking, right? So it's like, you picture me and my buddies on a submarine. It's like, we're locked in that thing for, a month or two. It's like, you're going to let us out in Naples.
Yeah.
And there's like, just don't get arrested. The bar is pretty high.
Yeah,
just like, don't make me come pick you up in jail.
Yeah.
Right? Because they know we're going to do all those dumb things.
Yeah.
Right? Because I got 30 days worth of money in my pocket, and I got 48 hours to burn it. It's like, game on. Let's go do this. And that's just the thinking that you get into, right? So you can't tell me that I just need to spend my money better. It's like, it's not like it's bred into us in a bad way.
Yeah.
But it's just us trying to figure out how to survive, and that's our own way of survival.
Well, I think the key thing that you hit on, obviously, is it's not an enlisted issue.
No.
It is a behavioral, across the nation issue of how people are raised to look at money, think about money,
The
spend
relationship
money.
with it, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
relationship with it.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. Although I teach my kids when I had my business, I used to say to my baristas, listen, 10% put it away every week. You're not even going to notice it. And some of them would be like, well, I'm going to go out this weekend. I went, don't tell me that 10% is going to make that much of a difference.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it is.
So you're but you're addressing the symptoms. And this is the education. Financial education is very important.
Yeah.
Right? It's not everybody can walk into a physics class and get it.
Yeah.
Right? They need like some prep work. Right? Just like an accounting class, just like a shop class. Right? Those are all education, and everybody could grow in those areas. Finance is the same way. If they're not prepped right for it, they're not going to do it. And you put somebody in a financial education class, and you're starting to talk to them about basic budgeting, and you just start here with what you got, and then here's what it comes out, and this number needs to be black, not red, And it's in the back of their head, they're like, I don't have any food for the kids tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? I got 3 months of back car payment. They're going to repo the car tomorrow. Right? And you live that way, and it's like a chronic financial stress that just like hounds you. Right? And you can't get away. When you go to bed, it's there when you go to bed. It's there when you take your kids to school. It's there when you're taking a shower. It's there when you're trying to enjoy vacation. It's there all the time. And this chronic financial stress is a leading catalyst for chronic food insecurity, homelessness, 30 mental and physical health conditions, and the leading catalyst for suicide. It just like eats away at you. And if you look at Epstein ran veterans, State of American Veteran study out of USC. They got like 17 major issues with veterans. One of them is like financial stuff, but it's like 14 of the others are influenced back by finances. The sleeplessness, the risky behaviors, the drug abuse, all these other things, right? These are dopamine fixes, right? To get away from like the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room and they can't change it. So you can send them to all the financial education classes you want, but it's like they're not prepped enough to get there. And this is really where STEP comes in, because it's not financial education. It's counseling focused on finances with a specific goal to change the behaviors. The exact same techniques we use to help people change all these other chronic self-destructive behaviors we use.
This really has opened my eyes today, I have to be honest with you. For all the time that I've known you, and Tracy, I had no idea that this is how you did it. And just talking about this now, remember, I was homeless for a period of time. I lived in my car. And yes, that not having a good enough job to be able to get out of my car into an apartment, when I look back at it now, there was, at that point, nothing was working for me. Because to your point, every day, all I kept thinking of was, okay, I gotta pay, I gotta pay, or how am I gonna make? How am I gonna make?
Every time your phone rings, every time you swipe a credit card, I mean, it's like, and I've been there too.
Yeah.
And it's like you swipe that, and then all you're saying is just say approved. Fucking go through. And it's like, ding, you're like,
yes.
Oh. That is, unless you've been there, right? And it just takes over your world.
It does. It took but I also think as well that for myself personally, that period of time, as awful as it was, really taught me a great deal, and I really did go back to the drawing board and go, okay, what's happened here? Why has it happened? How are we going to fix it? And how are we not going to get here again?
Yeah. Every failure and every setback is the fertile ground for growth and opportunity. It has to be looked at that way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're never going to do anything. And ultimately, people want self-agency. They want to manage their lives. They just want to be able to get by. And the program that we created with this financial counseling, so it's a social worker that's doing the counseling. They come from military backgrounds. They understand the environment. I get them to be certified financial counselors. So now they're comfortable with kind of the bookends, and they're happy spending 90% of the time in the middle, which is what matters, which is about you and why you can't change your behaviors. And maybe it was because your uncle said this, or your mom said this, or you send money here, or whatever your issue is. And it's always different. And if your husband's in the room, it's like he's got his whole own baggage on finances. It's like the social worker needs to work you guys through this so you can do it yourselves. And our focus is making you do it. We never actually tell you what to do. Social workers can figure out very quickly why you do it that way and why you do it that way, and you just need to do this and you just need to do this. But then it's our solution on you. Now, if they've got that figured out, they're going to start laying breadcrumbs out for you. Lay breadcrumbs out, and it's like, y'all need to say the words. Y'all need to focus on it. And the other issues that go with it, it's like, well, this is all well and good, but I can't have a conversation with my husband about money and not get in a fight. Well, there's some things we can do to get through that. And that spouse calls you back next Monday and says, we did it. Just like you said, we had a 30-minute conversation about money. I followed the things you said. I asked him the questions, and we ended at 30 minutes. And it worked. It was amazing. I feel so great, right? It's like the situation hasn't changed, but this was just one of the hurdles that needs to get solved, right? And so the social workers are uniquely qualified to be able to help people navigate these issues. Well, I got to send money home to my parents to pay for their fuel heating oil bill so they don't freeze to death. No banker is going to have a conversation with you about that. They're going to say, you shouldn't do it. Okay, I'll just let mom and dad freeze because the guy at Wells Fargo said to do it. It's like, no. The social worker can get into that. Let's talk about it. Right? So all these unique challenges. And then once we empower them that it could be better, then let's help paint a picture. What would it look like if it was better? How would that make you feel? What would make you feel better about those things? And so they're really kind of goal setting. They're going through a goal setting, but it's their goals, whether it's money in the bank or this paid off or whatever it is. And then they just create a plan. The plan's the budget, but we don't say budget. We're just like, well, how would that look? Could that work out? It's like, well, it looks like you're spending $700 a month more than you make with these numbers. Is this accurate?
I
don't know. What would have to change to make that different? I guess I make more money. How are you going to make more money? Let's start writing. What can you do in the next 30 days? I don't know. What else could you do then? Well, I guess spend less money. Could you? What could you spend less in the next 30 days? Let's just make a list, It's just like, I'm here to help you. And it's just really just pulling that thread the whole time. They're going to get a plan. It's going to be cash flow positive. We're going to provide money if we have to restore, retain the basic necessity. And then I think the most important piece, and it took us actually a while to get this worked out, was the 12-month follow-up. It's like, how do we do rigor in this follow-up, and how do we actually frame it and shape it so that they can achieve small wins, recognize that they're achieving small wins, get enough of those to get a big win. So maybe they're going to pay $5 extra on this credit card, right? Or put $5 extra, and their goal might be 25, but we only got 5. That sucks. I told you this never work. I'm too stupid. It's like, well, what were your main things, right? It's like, make sure your kids ate every day, make sure you didn't do your automatic overdraft, make sure all your bills are paid. Did that all happen? Yes. When's the last time all three of those things happened in a month? I guess it was a while.
Yeah.
So you're doing better,
Yeah.
right? Did you save the $25 you said here? No, I saved $6.
Yeah.
Because I'm terrible. When's the last time you saved $6?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These are small wins.
Yeah.
You need to recognize it's not a pill, right? This is not an Ozempic.
Yeah.
This is like, give me a shot, I'll fix it up.
No, and I have
Right?
to say,
It's just hard work.
yeah, I sent a couple in here last year, and I know them, but I did not get into the nitty gritty with them. And then a couple of months later, a spouse calls me and she goes, "Hey, listen, I was wondering if you could loan me X amount of money because I need to do something." And I said, "Oh, listen, I love you." I said, "I love you that much that I'm going to refer you back to STEP." I said, because I don't know the exact ins and outs of the program, but I've spoken to Tracy enough to know that they start and they go all the way to the finish. So whatever program you're on, you got to go back to them, because if I just give you the money, then I don't solve anything. I'll probably create a problem then, and I don't have that money anyway. So you got to go back.
It's not in my budget. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and they did. They came back in here, and I've checked in with them every now and again. And again, I don't know the ins and outs, but what I do know is that she's a lot happier.
Yeah.
So I can only assume.
And she feels better about her
Yes.
finances.
Yes.
And that's really the key. How do they feel about it?
Yeah.
A lot of people try to, let's predict who's going to get in financial trouble. And it's like, let's look at everybody who's in financial trouble or everybody that committed suicide in finance and look at their situation. And then it's like, all those people will go do something else for them. It's like, you can have 10 people in the exact same financial situation. One person's not going to care. Mm-hmm. One's going to have suicidal ideations, and the rest are going to be stretched out everywhere in between.
Yeah.
It's just, they process it all differently.
Would you say that financial crisis is the biggest thing for military families across the board?
I think it's the biggest thing for American families across the board.
Yeah.
And more so for military families because they're held to the higher standard.
Yeah.
And they're, it's a higher, again, financial stress, higher family stress, and higher work stress. Somebody, the group that, they caught on fire. They're refueling the helicopter up here in Miramar because they didn't ground it.
Oh.
It's like, these are the mistakes.
Yeah.
These are the mistakes you make when you're worried. I've had a military spouse in my office for 2 hours waiting for a phone call from her husband. And we're trying to help her. And she's like, "Oh, my husband's going to call. He said he's going to fix it." And it's like, "But you're here. Let's just start." So finally we get going. And she's talking to him. He's like, "Well, where's your husband?" And he's at sea. "Oh, he's on the ship at sea." He's like, "What is it coming in? Is it kind of coming to port? What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, he's deployed." "Oh, he's in the Arabian Gulf." "Oh, he's on watch for another 90 minutes. When he gets off watch in 90 minutes, he's going to log on, hope there's internet.
Oh, yeah.
And after a year of not being able to fix this, he's going to fix it so the car doesn't get repossessed tomorrow." We're like, that's not going to happen. And I don't want him worrying. I want him looking at the big gray panel. Whatever he's supposed to be doing is probably important, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't even be thinking about you.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is such a relief. You really think you can fix this?" It's like, yeah, this is what we do. This is our day job, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, let's save the car. And then she gets up and they're walking back to the conference room with the social worker. And she's like, "Hey, since you can help me with the car, we just got a 3-day pay or quit. Can you help us with that so we don't get evicted too?"
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, "Oh, the car was the lesser of the issues. You're going to lose your car and your house."
Yeah.
That's why you're worried about losing your car, because then you have nowhere to live.
Yes.
This becomes the crisis, right? So it's like, how was she not worried about losing the house? Because she had the car for a fallback.
Yes.
This is how you start thinking, right? You have a conversation with a spouse that hasn't fed their kids breakfast, and they're in the food line, and they're 2 lines from getting the food. And she looked me in the eye and says, "I'm not in financial crisis. I'm going to get food right here. It's going to be okay."
Wow.
Because that's how close it has to be, right?
Yeah.
If this one credit card swipe goes through, I'm okay. It's just like,
yes.
Take the house, just don't take the car.
Yeah. That's
right. And it's like, it shouldn't, we can get rid of all that.
Yeah.
Everybody can get rid of all that. And it's not an earning issue. So they do their studies, and everybody thinks they'd be better off if they made 30% more money. You've seen those studies.
Yep.
Right. And then on average, we've already established that 3 out of 5, most Americans spend their entire paycheck or more. So if you make $100,000, you spend $100,000. So if I went to you and said, hey, why don't you put $30,000 in the bank? I'm like, okay. So you start doing it, and you're like, oh, I can't do this. Nobody can live this way. Nobody could possibly live this way on $70,000. But the fact of the matter is people that only make 70, and they're living pretty much just like you. And you tell them to live off 50 and put 30% of their money in the bank, they're going to tell you it can't be done. But there's people making 50 and they're still getting it done. It's like you can't live at any of these levels. It's just your ability to conceive how to do it. And it's just outside of your norm, and humans hate change, and it's very hard to change this stuff.
It is, because you're changing a mindset, really.
Right. This is what we're actually helping people do. Spend less money. Be more in control of their money. And figure out how to make those decisions themselves.
Each family that comes in here, or spouse or service member that comes in here, they are assigned a social worker.
They get their own social worker.
Okay. And then they talk to that social worker who figures out, okay, this is what's going on with the individual, and then they put a plan together for that individual. Now, what happens if the individual, you've got the plan, but you're still not taking the advice, or you're still not putting the 30 grand away, or you're still blowing the 100, you're blowing 120, you've only got 100. We've given you the plan. Have you had folks where it's just kind of like, okay, we've given you everything we got?
Yeah, so it's interesting. That's a great question. And we don't get a lot of people like that. What we find is they might all come to us in crisis with like immediate loss, or potential loss of a basic necessity. Only about 20 to 25% of the families need a cash infusion. A lot of the families actually already have it. Again, they're just not able to they're just like, the plates are spinning all over the place. And it's like they can just settle down enough stuff to either use current dollars or future dollars to stop today's loss. And we help them do that. If we have to put money in the game, like if we have to put money on the board, our general motto is we're not going to throw money in a black hole. So you have to already have demonstrated that you're going to be able to get cash flow positive and stick with this enough. Sometimes we make the people do it first. It's like a carrot and a stick. Most of the people, the social workers can figure out very quickly how much money is on the table, how willing they are to change, what size the issues are, and we can make it happen. So it's just like last Friday, me and my president were both on vacation. The social workers, the office team, we're all here. I got a thing on my debit card got locked or something like that, the bank debit card for the work debit card. I called in, and she's like, we tried using this, but we used it twice in one day, this, that, and the other. I'm like, you guys have a busy day? And she's, we stopped 2 repos and 2 evictions today. It's 4 different clients. It's always on a Friday. Fridays are crazy because everybody waits till Friday. And so these are the crises. Now, in order for us to do that, the social worker has figured out that this one's going to be okay. And so we end up getting it paid. And they don't have to be at a certain part in the process, but we know this is going to have to work through. And it's done in a way, the first thing we do is build this relationship, right? And they understand they're in the driver's seat, so they want to. So those, the car repos, they'll pay what they can. And for the evictions, they'll pay. So one of them is Western Union, because some people want Western Union. It's ridiculous. But so they got a bunch of money in the bank. They drove to Walmart. And it's the client came in and we brought our $1,600 and they brought their $212. We put it all on the table, zoomed to Delaware, and the repo didn't happen because the bank got paid. And it has to get there before midnight, which we've been there at 9 p.m., 8:30. It's waiting on them to show up. So, but they're involved and they're part of the solution. We make it their solution to the problem. If the family, if we're not sure it's going to work, then we're going to hold it. And then it can get ugly. Right? You're going to put me and my babies on the street. And it's the social workers really have to fight with this. And it's maintain the culture, maintain the relationship. But it's I wouldn't know what to say, right? But this is their craft. They're practicing their craft.
Yeah.
It's like, we're giving you an opportunity to not have that happen, but you're going to have to work with us. We had a woman that we did this for 6 months, and she was ugly. She was scared. She was saying all kinds of crazy stuff. She was listening. She was going through the process. But just give me the money, though. But when do I get my check? When do I get my money? And we wouldn't. And on like the 7th month, she finally calls back, and she's like, thank you. I was listening the whole time. I understand. I was just scared. It's like, great. She's not cursing. She's not, you know, mean and ugly. She's like, I found a place to live. It's closer to the bus station, so I don't need the car. This is included, this, that, and the other. So I go from negative $700 to plus $300 a month.
Wow.
It's like, great. What do you need from us then?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can't afford the security deposit and the first month's rent. It's like, do you have a letter of intent?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll write that check all day long.
Yeah.
You know, and that was whatever, $4,000 or $5,000. I'll write that check because she did the work.
Yeah.
She finally like turned the corner. That's her problem, and she fixed it. She had this thing figured out. Let's get her in there. And and then she's like, this is great. I'll give you my security deposit back. You know, and it's like, I don't take money from military. That's your money.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do with it? I want you to be inspired to clean the old apartment, get your entire thing back, and then figure out how to plug in this windfall into your budget, right? Let's go back into your numbers. Let's go back into your personal financial plan that we're building. But then she's all in. So some people, it's a little harder.
Why do you think people wait so long?
They're scared. They don't want to address it. So after my divorce and the fire and all the other stuff, I had stacks of red bills. And it just doesn't feel good. Yeah. And you lose track of your stack pretty quickly, because the sun rises every morning. The same stuff happens, and it's the same swiping, and it's just like, I mean, I was like risky for a long time, but this was just ugly. And fortunate for me, I had like an IRA or something I could pull money out of, and obviously you lose a lot of money doing that, but you still don't like doing it. So I was there in the moment, and it just kept going and going. And then we were in the office, and somebody was talking, and it's like, yeah, we were working on the client's mortgage. They own the house. And he thought he was a month behind. It turned out he was 3 months behind. And somebody made a comment, how do you not know you're 3 months behind? Like, oh, I know. Because when it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. When you can't change it, you got to still be a parent, right? You got to still do all this stuff. And it's like that stack just gets bigger. And I had no idea how far behind I was on some stuff. And it's like, we just put out the first fire when it comes to us. And that's when the credit card doesn't swipe. That's when you get the repo letter, right? When you get you start getting the phone calls. It's like, what do I have to do, right? Let him take the house. We'll just keep the car. Right? It's just like, I can only fight, and retreat so much. And it's easy to lose track of that. And there's a pride issue. It's like financial stress has a way to just like eat you and just make you feel like just you're not worthy of anything. In
fact, I remember somebody saying to me when I was living in the car, "You're worthless."
Thank you. I agree.
I was like, all right, thank you. You have a good day too.
No, it's terrible. And this is why we have to make sure every interaction we have with clients is positive. And it's like, it's our biggest thing. It's like, it doesn't matter what kind of circus busts in that front door. It doesn't matter what kind of text or email or voicemail they left you. It's like, they got to hear the smile. They got to see the smile. They have to know that you're here to support them. And I go back to that FEMA center every time. And it's like, you will never be the jerk on the other side of the table making me trying to fit my square peg into your round hole. Right? We'll be whatever shape they are, that's our hole.
Yes.
We're going to make it that way.
Hearing about my initial question, Tony before the military and STEP, it all makes sense.
It's all a big circle for me.
It all makes sense. Now, my last question to you here is, if every service member, every spouse, enlisted spouse, family is listening, watching this, you have got 1 minute to give them a message. What do you want them to hear?
Well, I would say that everything's possible, and nobody should feel hopeless. I mean, as far as financial situations, really any other situations, there's people out there that can help. There's people that want to help, and it's okay to ask for that help because we don't know everything. Right? We get put in these situations where we have to react. So if you have questions, if you have challenges, don't be afraid to reach out. It's okay to talk to your friends, but we want, if somebody's in a financial crisis, we want them to say, STEP's that place that you go when you really just don't know what to do financially.
How can people get in touch with you?
Our website's the best way.
Okay.
So it's teamstepusa.org.
Okay.
On the top right, it says, apply for services, volunteer, or donate. Anybody wants to support, those are the avenues. You can always call the office, but you're going to have a chat with somebody, and they're going to tell you to go apply online.
I have to say, out of a lot of the non-profits that I've spoken with, interviewed, just a lot of other agencies outside of this one, this is very unique in how you handle your client and how you teach your client and support them in a way that they can be independent. It's a very unique process. Again, I've learned a lot today about how STEP operates and why it's like this, and I agree with you as well. My lowest moments in the car, if I went to ask for help, which again, pride, you don't want to go ask for help. And I think with military spouses, for some reason, we feel like we need to have some kind of permission to go ask for help.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that came from. But trying to fit into somebody else's world when they don't even understand the world you've been in for a while is this is what makes it so very unique. And actually, I mean, I feel quite emotional over how you guys are, dealing with your clients. I mean, it's very unique. It really is.
We set out to do one thing.
Yeah.
And that's help people get through a financial crisis in a way that makes it their last crisis. And that is what drives us. That's all we try to do. Yeah. And, blessed to be very successful at it and be able to keep growing it.
Tony, it has been so good to talk with you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Now, everybody watching, listening out there, especially San Diego, Hawaii, Washington, you said Oregon as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And soon Texas.
And soon Texas, that's right. Yeah. So if you've got a question, if you're in if you're feeling financial stress, just go to the website, Team Step USA, and connect with Tony, connect with one of the social workers. Don't be in that space by yourself. It's not a good place to be. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name's Surinder. This has been The Goode Show, and we are out. Thanks for tuning in to The Goode Show. If you loved what you heard, follow me on Instagram @The Goode Show.